GOP leader Kevin McCarthy speaking at the border yesterday, demanding accountability for President Biden's immigration policy or lack thereof at the border. There have been more than 5 million migrant encounters at the border on Joe Biden's watch. 5 million people have crossed over. Joining me right now is Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Meuser. Congressman, thanks very much for being here this morning. Do you think Mayorkas will resign?
Well, Marie, I think he should. If not, he's going to face many hearings, and all well-deserved. We've got a human trafficking crisis. We've got a illegal drug crisis. We've got tens of thousands of deaths coming over the border. Yet the current secretary, Mayorkas, informs us that the border is secure. He's accused mounted police of doing things that they have proven that they weren't done. Meanwhile, he knew the facts. He's trying to overturn Title 42 as well as remain in Mexico or delay it. So I think he's very guilty of doing a terrible job. We will see if he's guilty of any crimes.
Well, I mean, I think that there have been thousands and thousands of pounds of fentanyl seized. We know that about 1,000 people are dead, migrants trying to make the dangerous trek through the Rio Grande. We know that there's up to 1 million gotaways, people who have been seen on the surveillance camera, who have gotten away, and they're in the country. They did everything they could to evade apprehension. Yeah. And yet the White House says that this is all a fantasy of Republicans and that this is just political. Here's what was said yesterday. Watch this.
The question that we have for Kevin McCarthy, what is his plan? What is he doing to help the situation that we're seeing? What is his plan? He goes down there and he does a political stunt like many Republicans do, that we have seen them do, but he actually is not putting forth a plan.
So, Congressman, what is your plan?
You know, Maria, this administration and the Biden Democrats have created many, many terrible crises that our nation is facing. But this one here is unforgivable, that they are not recognizing the problem, are not doing anything to correct it. Yet there's human trafficking, there's millions coming across. The plan was in place a few years ago. It is remain in Mexico. It is the proper asylum adjudication. It is basically a war on cartels, and it is the engagement of the Mexico and the Mexican army, which President Trump had in effect. This ridiculous administration, this unforgivable act, was done to just reverse the Trump policies, and it's created a terrible mess. Not to mention the secret flights that are coming into my district and others that they lie to us about. This is unforgivable. The people want accountability, and the majority in this House and Kevin McCarthy's leadership, we're going to give it to them.
Well, I mean, it's amazing that she can get away with that, saying what is the plan, when we know there was a plan in place. It was President Trump's plan. It was to finish building the wall and keep in place these Remain in Mexico programs, among others, to limit the amount of free-for-all into this country. Meanwhile, you know what's going on now in terms of Joe Biden extending the pause on student loan payments, the moratorium, until June of next year at least, when the Supreme Court is able to hear the case. Let me just say that the Committee for a Responsible Budget says they estimate extending this pause for 60 days beyond June 30th would cost $40 billion. That's the equivalent of 18 months of the Pell Grant program. It would bring the total cost of the student debt pause to $195 billion and $275 billion when you go back to 2020. So this is costing American taxpayers money, and I've never heard anything like this, that you could, take out debt for college and then get it forgiven. Here's Joe Biden and what he said about this pause back in August. Watch this.
Student loan payments pause is going to end. It's going to end December 30. I'm extending to December 31st, 2022, and it's going to end at that time. It's time for the payments to resume.
Yeah, but now he's not saying that, Congressman. So here we are up against the deadline, December of this year, and now he wants to extend it until next year, August.
Well, this is just terrible, Maria. There's no life lessons being taught here. I mean, these are profiles in cowardness. They say one thing constantly and do another. you know, the American people, we just had an election, and unfortunately, too many did not recognize that. The extension of these loans is unbelievably disruptive to almost $1 trillion of payments. There's so many other smarter ways of handling this and helping young people or anyone who has student loans to make repayment. And the whole idea of excusing and dismissing nearly $600 to $700 billion is unbelievably a special interest play that is terribly unfair to millions of others. So once again, just a profile and how to botch things up.
Yeah, I mean, look, he says it's going to go until June 30th, 2023. Until the Supreme Court could hear it.
Right.
And again, it's going to cost $40 billion. And that's just until then. But I guess it looks like the committee is expecting it to even go beyond that. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for weighing in on all of that. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Maria. Thank you.